My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum. History shows us what happens when people do bad things. Lots of powerful cities were destroyed, not just by natural disasters, but because they forgot how to be good. In this video, we'll travel back in time to see what's left of these cities. God punished them. Let's learn from these stories and remember how important it is to follow Islamic teachings, so we can have a good life after this one. The story of Prophet Noah, peace be upon him, teaches us about faith, patience, and God's punishment. For 950 years, Prophet Noah told his people to stop worshiping idols and to believe in only one God, Allah. But they laughed at him. They thought they were too smart to listen to him. They were too proud to see the truth. They built fancy houses, got rich, and only cared about having fun. They forgot about Judgment Day. They laughed when Noah warned them about a flood. They thought he was lying. Finally, they did so many bad things that God got angry. It rained and rained, harder than it ever had before. Water came up from the ground too. Noah's Ark, which he built because God told him to, saved the people who believed in God. The flood covered everything. The people who didn't listen to Noah drowned in the water they had laughed about. In the desert of Arabia, the people of Ad built huge buildings. They were strong and good builders. They thought they were unbeatable. But even though they were rich, they forgot about God. They stopped worshiping Allah and started worshiping idols they made themselves. God, being kind, sent Prophet Hud, peace be upon him, to help them. Prophet Hud told them to remember all the good things God had given them, and to ask for forgiveness. He warned them about what would happen if they kept being proud and didn't listen. But the people of Ad were too proud. They laughed at Prophet Hud. Their pride destroyed them. A terrible sandstorm sent by God covered their land. The people of Ad, once so proud, were buried in the sand. The people of Thamud carved their homes into cliffs in what is now Madyaan in Saudi Arabia. They were proud of what they built. They were great artists and builders. They made beautiful homes in the mountains. But they became too proud. They stopped worshiping Allah and only cared about what they had built. God, being kind, sent Prophet Salih, peace be upon him, to help them. Prophet Salih told them to thank God for all the good things they had and to stop being so proud and worshiping idols. God sent them a special camel, a miracle. It came out of a rock and gave them milk. It was a reminder of God's power. Prophet Salih warned them not to hurt the camel. It was a sign from God. But the proud leaders of Thamud killed the camel. They disobeyed God. God sent a huge earthquake. Then a loud boom came from the sky and killed everyone. The city became silent. The cities of Sodom and Gomorrah were rich and had lots of food, but they were also very bad. The people of Prophet Lot, peace be upon him, did terrible things that God didn't want them to do. Prophet Lot, sent by God, begged them to be sorry and to do good things. He told them that God made men and women to have families and to live good lives. He warned them that God would punish them for their bad actions. But the people of Sodom and Gomorrah just laughed at Prophet Lot. They didn't listen to his warnings. God punished them. The cities of Sodom and Gomorrah were turned upside down and destroyed. This is what happens when people are bad and don't listen to God. Chapter 5. The Pharaoh's downfall drowned in the depths of arrogance. The Pharaoh, the ruler of Egypt, was very proud and mean. He believed himself to be a god, a being above all others, and his arrogance knew no bounds. He said he was a god and made the Israelites his slaves. The Israelites suffered greatly under his rule, forced to work tirelessly and live in harsh conditions. He was so proud and wanted so much power that he didn't listen to anyone, not even the prophets. His advisors warned him, but he dismissed their concerns, believing his own wisdom to be superior. God sent prophet Moses, peace be upon him, to tell Pharaoh to let the Israelites go. Moses, a humble and devout man, stood before the mighty Pharaoh with a message of liberation. Prophet Moses showed Pharaoh miracles. These were not mere tricks, but divine signs meant to demonstrate the power of the one true God. He turned his staff into a snake and parted the Nile River. These miraculous acts were clear evidence of God's might and authority. These were signs of God's power. They were meant to humble Pharaoh and make him realize the futility of his arrogance. He told Pharaoh and his people to worship the one true God and to stop being mean. Moses' message was one of compassion and justice, urging Pharaoh to change his ways. But Pharaoh thought he was a god and laughed at Moses. He saw Moses as a mere mortal, unworthy of his attention or respect. He didn't believe in God's power. His heart was hardened, and he refused to acknowledge the signs before him. He chased prophet Moses and the Israelites to the Red Sea. But God is powerful. The Israelites, guided by Moses, reached the edge of the sea, seemingly trapped. Pharaoh, who thought he was so great, drowned in the water. His army too was swallowed by the sea, a testament to the ultimate power of God. This shows that power and money don't matter when you disobey God. In the end, Pharaoh's arrogance led to his downfall, a lesson for all who think themselves invincible. Chapter 6. The people of Prophet Shu'aib, Madyaan, consumed by the fire of greed. The people of Prophet Shu'aib, peace be upon him, lived in Madyaan, a city known for its bustling markets and vibrant trade. The marketplace was always filled with the sounds of haggling and the clinking of coins. However, over time, the people of Madyaan became consumed by greed. They were no longer content with fair trade and honest dealings. They began to cheat their customers, using dishonest scales and measures to keep more money for themselves. The once fair and just marketplace turned into a hub of deceit and corruption. The traders forgot about the importance of honesty and fairness. They ignored the principles that once guided their community, focusing solely on their own gain. Prophet Shu'aib, a man of great wisdom and integrity, saw the moral decay of his people. He stood up and preached to them, urging them to return to the path of righteousness. He told them to be honest in their dealings, to give people what they paid for, and to remember the day of judgment, when God would hold everyone accountable for their actions. He emphasized that true success and real riches come from pleasing God, not from cheating others. Prophet Shu'aib explained that the wealth gained through deceit was temporary and would ultimately lead to their downfall. He reminded them that the real treasures were the ones that would last in the hereafter, earned through good deeds and honesty. The Quran says, "And to the people of Madyaan we sent their brother Shu'aib. He said, 'O my people, worship Allah. You have no deity other than Him.' He called them to worship Allah alone and to abandon their corrupt practices. He urged them to be just and fair in their transactions, and do not decrease from the measure and the scale while you are in surplus." He warned them against the sin of cheating, especially when they were already prosperous. "Indeed, I see you in prosperity, but indeed, I fear for you the punishment of an encompassing day." Surah Al-Hud 84. Prophet Shu'aib's warnings were clear and stern, but they were also filled with compassion and concern for his people. However, the wealthy and powerful among them laughed at Prophet Shu'aib. They were blinded by their greed and arrogance, believing that their wealth made them invincible. They thought their money made them better than everyone else. They dismissed Prophet Shu'aib's warnings, thinking that their riches would protect them from any harm. But the wealth they accumulated through dishonest means became the very fire that consumed them. Their greed led to their destruction. and the city of Madyaan was left in ruins. This story serves as a powerful reminder that true wealth and success come from living a life of integrity and righteousness. God always sees what we do, and in the end, it is our good deeds that will bring us lasting happiness and prosperity. Chapter 7. Pompeii, buried under the ashes of immorality. The Roman city of Pompeii was covered in ash when a volcano erupted. This catastrophic event occurred in 79 AD when Mount Vesuvius, a volcano near the Bay of Naples in Italy, violently erupted, spewing tons of volcanic ash and pumice into the atmosphere. The eruption was so powerful that it buried the entire city under a thick layer of ash, preserving it for centuries. It reminds us what happens when people are bad and don't listen to God. The sudden and complete destruction of Pompeii serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of living a life of immorality and ignoring divine guidance. The preserved bodies of the victims, frozen in time, tell a haunting story of a city caught unprepared for the wrath of nature. The Quran doesn't talk about Pompeii, but its story is a lesson for everyone. While the Quran does not specifically mention Pompeii, the tale of its destruction aligns with the broader teachings found in many religious texts about the fate of those who indulge in sinful behavior and ignore the warnings of prophets and messengers. Pompeii was a rich city, but the people were bad. The city was known for its wealth and luxurious lifestyle, with grand homes, elaborate frescoes, and abundant artifacts that showcase the opulence of its inhabitants. However, beneath this veneer of prosperity lay a society steeped in moral decay. They didn't believe in one God. The people of Pompeii practiced polytheism, worshipping a pantheon of gods and goddesses. Their religious practices were diverse, involving numerous rituals and ceremonies dedicated to various deities. They worshipped many gods and goddesses, and their temples and altars were adorned with statues and frescoes depicting these divine figures. The religious life of Pompeii was vibrant and multifaceted, reflecting the complex spiritual beliefs of its people. And they did bad things in their rituals. Some of these rituals involved practices that were considered immoral and corrupt, further contributing to the city's reputation for decadence and vice. Pictures and things found in Pompeii show that people only cared about money, having fun, and indulging in hedonistic pleasures. The artifacts and frescoes unearthed from the ruins reveal a society obsessed with wealth, entertainment, and self-gratification, and doing bad things in public. Public life in Pompeii was marked by activities that were often morally questionable, with little regard for ethical conduct or spiritual values. Muslims believe that God didn't send a prophet to Pompeii. According to Islamic belief, God sends prophets to guide people and warn them of the consequences of their actions. However, there is no record of a prophet being sent to Pompeii. But the bad things they did were like the bad things other people did who were punished by God. The fate of Pompeii mirrors the stories of other ancient civilizations that faced divine retribution for their sins and transgressions. Their story, buried in ash, shows us that God's rules are for everyone, regardless of whether they received a direct message from a prophet. The preservation of Pompeii under volcanic ash serves as a powerful testament to the universal nature of divine justice. And if people are bad, bad things will happen to them. The destruction of Pompeii is a sobering reminder that actions have consequences, and that moral and ethical conduct is essential for the well-being of any society. The Quran says, "We never punish until we have sent a messenger." This verse underscores the importance of divine guidance and the role of prophets in warning people about the consequences of their actions. Pompeii shows that even if a prophet wasn't sent, if people are bad, they will be punished. The story of Pompeii is a timeless lesson about the importance of living a righteous life and the inevitable consequences of moral corruption. These stories, my dear brothers and sisters, are not just old stories. They are lessons for us today, no matter what we believe. The Quran, which teaches everyone, says, "We have certainly destroyed generations before you when they were wrongdoers, and their messengers came to them with clear proofs, but they were not to believe. Thus do we recompense the criminal people." These stories show us that money and power don't last, but God's judgment does. Let's try to live good lives, like Islam teaches us, by being humble, kind, and fair. Real success doesn't come from money or power, but from making God happy by living a good life.